Hey everyone, today I've got a brilliant game for you between Paul Morphy and Theodor Knight. And as you can see from the position already, Morphy has given black peace odds, so the white rook and the white knights don't exist in this game. And considering Morphy's a really strong player and black is a relative novice, it seems to make for quite an interesting spectacle. Keep note of how white develops his pieces here. It's quite an interesting game. And we expect no less from Morphy, obviously. So he starts off with 1e4 and black plays e5, and Morphy asks a question straight away. He plays f4, attacking the e5 pawn, so straight away black has to make a decision, and black decides to just capture the pawn, so now he's two pieces and a pawn up. And now Morphy plays knight to f3, developing his piece, and black actually plays one of the best moves in this position according to Stockfish. He plays g5, protecting the f4 pawn, and maybe threatening to play g4. Here white plays bishop to c4, developing another piece and lining up f7. So black's white squares are quite weak actually in this position. So white's plan is probably to play the queen out to h5 at some point and use this bishop on c4 to deliver some attacks. Queen e7 from black, attacking the e4 pawn, and now Morphy plays d4, just ignoring that. And interestingly here, black actually plays d5. Now I was thinking, why didn't black just take this pawn? But maybe he was worried about king f2, because now rook to e1 is threatened, and the queen will be under attack and have to be taken. So queen f5 would be played, maybe rook e1 now, and bishop e7, but then comes rook e5, so this looks quite dangerous for black already, even though he is two pieces up. But as you can see, a lot of these pieces aren't actually doing anything. So here, after d4, black played d5, and the e-pawn can't take d5, but the bishop can, and that's what Morphy did. He took on d5, and now c6 from black attacking the bishop. Now I ask you here, if you were a normal player, what would you play here? I personally would probably think maybe bishop to b3 or bishop to c4. I think I'd play bishop to b3 here. Maybe black would take on e4 and king f2 again, queen f5, maybe perhaps h4 here with play continuing. But Morphy is no ordinary player. He actually played bishop takes f7, surprisingly enough here, another sacrifice, so after black takes this he'll be three pieces up. Here black actually took with the queen, but let's just see what happens if king takes. So if king takes, I guess knight to e5, king g7, queen h5, and I think black's doing fine here. He's a lot of pieces up. He is under a bit of pressure, but the amount of pieces he's got, he should be able to defend a lot of positions. Instead, black took with the queen, and here Morphy played, he didn't take on g5, he played knight to e5, centralising the knight and attacking the queen. The queen moved to f6, and the consequence of this move was that the queen is no longer protecting the h5 square, so Morphy just plops his queen in, queen h5, check. King e7 was played by black, decent move. Black is still winning this, he's still got enough pieces to defend. And Morphy now plays h4, attacking the g5 pawn. Black opted to take the pawn, and now Morphy gets his final piece into the attack with rook to f1, and now the two pieces are ganging up on the f pawn. Black develops his bishop to protect the f pawn, and now Morphy switches plans. He actually plays a really clever move here, b3, switching the bishop to a3 to attack the king from this side instead. Knight d7 was played by black, trying to get rid of this knight on e5, but bishop a3 can come in first, check. And now king d8 is also possible here, but actually black played the best move, which is c5. And now Morphy played another move, centralising his rook to d1. And remember, the c pawn can't take on d4 because it's pinned against the bishop. Now here actually black went wrong. He played the wrong move. He played knight takes e5, which doesn't look too bad at first glance, but now comes bishop c5 check, and white is actually now winning. King e6 was played by black, and now Morphy played queen to e8 check. Now the best move here is actually to block it with the queen, believe it or not. So after queen e7, white can now play bishop takes e7, taking the queen. Knight takes e7, queen h8. Let's say knight to g6, queen takes, and bishop g5 and e5. These are considered the best moves, and this would actually make for a really interesting game. The computer actually gives this as dead even, surprisingly. So black's got 4 pieces for the queen, but white has actually 2 extra pawns and the centre. So I actually would prefer to play white, I think, here. His position's a bit more easier to play. The easy plan of playing c4, maybe d5 at some point, and the king is quite exposed. But black actually went wrong. After queen to e8, Theodor played the wrong knight move. He played knight to e7 here, and this is a nice checkmate with the pawn. Morphy played d5, checkmate. The king has no more squares, and it's game over. So that was actually a really amazing attack. I think the key moment for me was when c6 was played and Morphy decides to play bishop takes f7. I imagine this game was for a bit of fun considering you got piece odds, but again, this shows Morphy's inventive style and attacking play. I just believe he just got his pieces out and the king got left in the centre. By no means did black play well actually in this at all. The development wasn't exactly brilliant. I think if you're playing 2 pieces up, you should just be cautious and just wait and develop slowly. But this made for certainly a very fun game, and hopefully I'll bring you some more piece odd games soon because I think they're quite interesting. Thanks for watching.